Okay, I'm going to talk about the L and R pronunciation difficulty that many Japanese speakers have when they're trying to speak English. And I'm going to start by introducing another letter. Yes, I'm going to introduce the letter W. And the reason I'm going to introduce the letter W is because basically, for Japanese people, W is really seen as being very different from R and L. While Japanese people might confuse R and L, they would never confuse it with W. For English people, on the other hand, or for English-speaking people, W and R are really pretty similar, and L is completely different. All right? So, for example, if you have an English person or an English-speaking person, and you do sometimes get people like this who can't say the letter R, maybe their tongue is just a little bit too short or something like that, they will say very often W. So in other words, they might say very instead of very. Or you might sometimes hear people saying, that's wrong instead of that's wrong, because they can't quite get their tongue into the right position to say R. So in such cases, they will say a W. They will never say an L. And I would encourage you to think of W and R as being similar and to make your R's a little bit more like a W. All right? And to look at L as being quite a different kettle of fish, a different thing. Okay? All right, let's carry on from there then. Firstly, let's take a look inside your mouth and see what you're actually doing, or what native speakers at least are doing when they make these sounds. Well, the part of the mouth that we're interested in is just the front of the mouth. You can see the whole mouth from the side here, and we're just interested in this little bit of it. Okay? Here. All right? So I'm going to go and take a look at that bit in more detail. Got it? Can you see where we are? Inside the mouth. If you put your tongue up, you can feel that little ridge there, and inside that ridge, about the middle of the ridge, if you're Japanese, you'll be making rari-ru-re-ro. Basically, rari-ru-re-ro are tapping the tongue onto the little ridge behind the teeth at the top there before you get into a kind of dip where the mouth has a kind of cave sort of shape inside it. So rari-ru-re-ro is in the middle of that area, whereas the letter L, or the sound L in English, is produced by putting the tongue further forward. All right, we could actually try that, doing the Japanese rari-ru-re-ro. If we put the tongue further forward, it's going to sound like this: lali-lu-le-lo. Can you hear the difference between rari-ru-re-ro and lali-lu-le-lo? Okay, if you can hear the difference, then perhaps you also can make the difference. And when it comes to the letter R, or the sound R, then basically we make that sound by curling the tongue up and back and touching the inside of that flat area, just where it's starting to become a kind of cave, dipping upwards, as you can see there. R, r, r. So let's try that one. Rari-ru-re-ro. Can you hear the difference between rari-ru-re-ro and rari-ru-re-ro? Okay, if you can hear the difference between these two, then perhaps you can learn how to say the difference. All right, lali-lu-le-lo, rari-ru-re-ro. Let's imagine a child having difficulty with rari-ru-re-ro who says wasule-la-le-nai. Wasule-la-le-nai. Have you ever heard children or some people sort of saying that, saying the L, more of an L sound than the usual sound you get in Japanese? I've heard it. Okay? Wasule-la-le-nai. And then imagine a gaijin saying it. Imagine a foreigner saying wasure-ra-re-nai. Can you imitate those? Can you imitate the person, the child probably, who says la li lu le lo and wasu le la le nai? And can you imitate the foreigner who might say ra ri ru re ro and wasu re ra re nai? Can you catch the difference between those two? And can you yourself actually make the difference? Try it, okay? Practice in front of the mirror. Practice saying those two different sounds. Okay, let's move on. Now I want to look at the lips, the shape of the lips when we say these two sounds. This is why I brought in the W. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. And basically, here we go. We have the mouth open and the tongue resting. All right, just in a resting position. And we make the sound ooh, ooh. Or with a W in front of it, it would be woo, woo. Okay, ooh or woo. So the mouth open with the tongue just resting at the bottom there. All right? And then if we open the mouth, we're going to say E, E. Okay, we're going to put the lip shape together with the shape inside the mouth so that it will help us to say the letters or the sounds R and L. Starting with R, remember what we said, the tongue goes back to the back part of the top of the mouth as far as it can, and it makes the sound R, ra, ri, ru. Okay, that kind of sound. Whereas for L, the tongue is going forward and it's making L, L, la, li, lu. That kind of sound. All right? So if we connect that with the lips, then we'll find that the R sound is made with the lips forward. All right? So that we make a w, 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 r. All right? So it is similar to the same shape as we have for the lips when we say W. This is why for native speakers, R and W are quite closely connected. The lip shape is the same. All right? R, r. All right? Ra, ri, ru. Wa, we, woo. Ra, ri, ru. Okay? If you make the lip shape, wa, we, woo, with no tongue, and then you put the tongue in, ra, ri, ru. All right? You're getting the right sound. All right, good. So now let's take a look at, yes, just confirm that, all right? R, r, lips forward, all right? And then with the lips back, making the L sound, kind of smiley face, all right? And the lips go back and the tongue goes forward. It's la, li, lu, okay? We'd find it very difficult to say an L sound with the lips forward. I find it rather difficult to say an R sound with the lips backward. So having the lips in the right position actually helps you quite a lot to make the right sound. Okay, so this one, it's in the opposite direction. It's the lips back in a smile shape while the tongue goes forward. So we've got wa, wee, woo, okay, with the w, w, w sound, with the lips forward and the tongue resting. Then we put the tongue up and back and we make ra, ri, ru, but with the lips still forward. Then we put the lips back and the tongue forward and we make la, li, lu. We make the l, l, l sound. Okay? And so just to sum that all up, tongue back for lips forward for R, tongue forward, lips back for L. All right? Whereas for W, all right, we've got the tongue resting and we've got the lips forward, okay? So we've got w, 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 okay? R, 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 and l, l, l. All right? If we can practice those three, we should get somewhere close to saying the right sound. Okay? Remember, wa, we, woo, okay? White, for example. Ra, ri, ru, right, for example. And la, li, lu, light. Can you practice those sounds? Okay, if you can, then you've got one thing that you've got a for W, 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 and you've got a r, r, r with the lips again forward for R, and then you've got a smiling kind of shape for L. So it's w, r, l. Kiss, kiss, smile. All right? You remember that? You'll never forget it, okay? You'll get it right each time, I hope. All right? So let's do a little bit of practice here. White, right, light. Wait, rate, late. Wink, rink, link. Way, ray, lay. Wend, rend, lend. Walk, rock, lock. Let's try it again. White, right, light. Wait, rate, late. Wink, rink, link. Way, ray, lay. Wend, rend, lend. Walk, rock, lock. Okay? All right. Good luck. Happy practicing.